Good morning. This is Greg Nooney, and we're beginning our service now for the First Unitarian Church of Sioux City, Iowa. It looks like we have 12 people registered, but only 5 are actually live right now. I'm not sure everybody realizes that they have to actually check in live so they can be live. So I'm kind of waiting for Carter and Terry Brooks to sign in live so we can begin the service. I appreciate all of you for signing up and some of you signing up early, which is really helpful. As we proceed, if you run into any problems, please write a little note. I can check the notes as we go forward. I'm actually in my home. I'm in the basement, my basement office, so I can monitor things as we move forward without any problem. So Leslie says there's a bit of an echo and the volume is a bit low. So first try turning up your volume for anybody that can't hear me. Turn up your volume, but I will also turn up my volume. Oh, she says that's better. I haven't done anything. So you must have done something to fix it. But I can check my volume as well here. I will check my volume. I can turn mine up. I have a pretty nice microphone here, and I can turn it up. I didn't want it to be too loud. I'm going to turn it. Okay, I'm going to put my microphone right in front of me. Hopefully that will make it a little bit better. And the echoing has to do probably with your speaker. I don't know. If you have headphones, it might make it a little easier. But, oh, Ed is here. I will do that. I will look at my my sound. So I have my microphone on up all the way right now. So we'll see if that makes a difference. Okay. So looks like, let's see if Carter is here. No, Carter's not signed in yet. Oh, Terry is. Let me put Terry on the screen once. So I'm inviting Terry in. I'm not sure if he's home or if he's at church.
This through music sort of slide forward.
No, I just realized
there's
I did
Terry.
something wrong. I gotta get. Hi, Greg.
Hello. Good morning.
Hi. I'm gonna have to readjust. The cameraman's not drunk, but he forgot to put up the music stand, so
Oh,
I
okay,
gotta
no problem.
reposition something.
Sure, take your time. Are you at church or are you at home?
I came to church, and I'm so sick of my excuses, but the power was out. My phone did not get charged, and it gave me the low battery warning. So I'll go as long as I can.
Okay.
Sorry.
And I'll stream you on mine too.
All right. Now that we figured out how to do a flat piano, this is fun. I'm not going to lie. It's so fun. I think I'm good, but thank you. And happy Easter. Who said happy Easter to me? Oh, Carter. Yeah, but no offense. There was some young lady sitting there. My life. Okay, I'll behave. All right, so,
Just give me 1 second. We're not quite set up yet. I gotta log into my.
and I'm gonna have the music such that I can see it. Oh, wow. All right, so I can position. Greg, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, I can hear you fine.
Okay, I don't want to lose this screen. Do you mind telling me the songs again?
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see here. It looks like the first one is 318. We would be one. And I'm going to put this on the screen for everybody.
For the opening, I was hoping, but never mind.
Oh, you want to do an opening statement?
Yeah,
Carter?
I want to do 311 as the opening song today, if you could.
Sure.
Sorry.
Do you want to do that first, or do you want to have a?
We'll use that as like the opening prelude.
Okay, I'm going to put that up as a shared screen here.
I was not able to figure out how to tether my computer, so I apologize. Oh, now shared screen's coming up.
Yep, I figured out how to do it.
What? Boy, you got a future as a computer whiz, big guy. Okay.
I guess.
Now what I just do?
Oh, I just made it bigger, and I
Okay,
can
you
still
took.
see you in the corner.
Okay, but it's not big enough. I'm kidding. Thank you. This
Put you
is
up there.
great what you're doing, Greg. It's a little out of focus, but it's a great first time.
Yes, we're working on it. So once you start playing, I'll put the music up on the full screen so people can hear it. See
Okay,
it, I mean.
can I have some? Okay, you guys are busy.
What's up?
I cannot get this angled and read music at the same time. Okay. You see what I'm trying to do and be able, okay, right now I got it.
Shown to fall forward.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'm probably not going to make the whole service, but it's still too low.
It's okay. We can live stream that line once that long in.
Okay, Greg, I'm getting ready to start.
Go whenever you're ready.
Excuse me?
Go whenever you're ready.
I've got a dog eating corners. This is a new book and I can't get pages to turn.
Good times in the bathroom. Let it be a dance. Dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the word. Be heard. Let it be a dance. Okay. Is Carter up next?
Yep.
Do you
What
want
do
me
we
to
do?
call you in, Carter, or?
Yeah, I'm on my laptop.
Okay.
We got an echo.
It helps with Easter Sunday. It makes it sound like God's name.
I'm inviting you in, Carter.
All right. Hey, do you have me? Oh, there we go.
There you are.
Let me move my laptop up a little bit. So we're doing a multi-facet approach this morning. Several layers of technology. Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Sioux City, Iowa. My name is Carter Smith and I will be the lay leader for today's service. We will be doing things a little differently today, so if you could just pause with me. I think I know what our mic issue is.
I think I've lost your video picture, Carter.
Greg, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, Carter had to check something on the mixer. He's coming back to the podium now.
Okay. So I can see you, Terry, but I can't see Carter yet.
Okay, well, I should be on here.
Now, Greg, with you being able to see me, is everyone else seeing me that's at this service?
Yes.
Do
Okay.
you have me now?
Hold on. Yep, there you are. I got Carter
Okay.
now.
And Terry, if you want to shut off your crowdcast, I think that's what's causing the echo.
Oh, shut it off.
Yep. Yeah, for your crowdcast, because I think that's what's giving us the echo.
You can actually mute your thing,
Terry.
Yep.
Okay, can you tell me where the mute switch is? I'm being serious.
Maybe just the audio recording here.
What do we have now? I just did. You still got it?
Yep.
Actually, I think I just muted you from here.
Okay, sounds great.
Muted Terry, correct?
No, I didn't. I tried to, but I can still hear Terry. Okay, talk and see if we have an echo, Carter.
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and get started. Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Sioux City, Iowa. My name is Carter Smith and I am the lay leader for today's service. I'd like to wish all of our viewers a happy Easter Sunday. I think 2020 has been a bit of a struggle for many of us, and as you've noticed, if you're out in the Midwest, if you look outside, it looks like hell may have just as well frozen over today, since we have snow for this lovely Easter Sunday service. If there are visitors, there is some basic information that we want you to know about our church. As a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association, we provide a free pulpit where invited speakers are free to express their own opinions. We hope you find our service meaningful today. And if you're interested in more information, please reach out on our Facebook page or through our church phone number and email, and we will get you on our email listserv for our monthly newsletter that outlines our topics and what we're addressing currently. As many of you are aware, this month's service is, the topic is hell. And so today our sermon title is Living Through Hell. And so with that, the thing that we like people to know is that this topic was chosen before we ended up living through a pandemic. So the irony of what we're talking about may be a little too real for many of us. So just bear with us today. Our opening words today is number 626, Life Again. Out of the dusk of a shadow, then a spark. Out of the cloud, a silence, then a lark. Out of the heart, a rapture, then a pain. Out of the dead, cold ashes, life again. John Bannister Tabb. All right, so please recite with me as we light the chalice today. So we gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, a sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. So this is the time in our service when normally if we were meeting in person, we would invite anyone who wished to do so to come forward and light a candle and share with us a joy, a concern, or a milestone. Obviously, with all of the social distancing, that's not really an option today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to light a candle of joy. As many of you know, I grew up on a sheep farm, and last Saturday, my family was able to successfully shear all of our 160 sheep, even though we have a shelter-in-place order in the state of Minnesota, and the logistics were difficult, and I wasn't able to go home for it because I work in healthcare, and I didn't want to expose anyone on our farm to COVID if I was carrying it. So that's for them. So another candle that I'd like to light is for our healthcare workers. Right now, it's some trying times for a lot of our healthcare workers. There's a lot of uncertainty every day in the things that they're going through and the decisions that they're being forced to make. And so just some prayers for them and some strength and fortitude in the weeks to come. The third candle that we have is for all of those that are living with a chronic condition and the fear that this pandemic brings, knowing that that can put them at a higher risk for complications if they do in fact contract the virus. Our fourth candle today is for those that have lost loved ones so far in this pandemic. So that's just for all those people that are going through a lot of trauma and hard stuff. Greg, you had one?
Yes, this is for a recommendation of Shannon Kennedy, and this is a candle for Ed Whitebeaver being with us virtually. She says she has missed him, and we all have missed him.
So a candle for Ed Whitebeaver, who is able to join us for the service today, virtually from Winnebago. We have missed him a lot here at First Unitarian, and we're happy to have you, Ed. So good to see you.
Hi, Ed.
I don't see any others quite yet. If anybody has a candle they want to be lit, please write it down on the chat here.
Do we have any candles from Facebook? All right, sounds good.
Are you recording this on Facebook as we?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Cool.
We're streaming Facebook. So that way, just in case people had struggles with getting to the Crowdcast, we could have both going today.
Excellent.
I'm lighting one final candle for all of the joys and concerns that remain unspoken, but forever in our hearts. And we'll have a moment of silent meditation.
And by the way, your video disappeared, Carter.
I wonder why it keeps disappearing.
It might, I don't know.
Can you see me now, Greg?
No, I can't.
All right. Well, I'm showing my video on my end. Let's see.
Okay, now you're back.
Okay. All right. So normally at this point in our service, we would do our offering and send around our offering plates to do collections to help with a few different funds that we have established at our church. Even during these times of social distancing, there are still some basic needs that our church has to meet. Those are, heating and water bills, our basic staff expenses, things like that. We try to be fiscally responsible during these times because we know they're difficult for many of us. So please don't forget about us. The other fund that is extremely important that usually as our biggest benefit from our Sunday services is our Change for Change fund. That's a fund that is dedicated to serving individuals and folks within our community that have needs and come forward. So we help with utilities, services, and things like that. So it's important to remember that all of those needs still continue even while many of us are having to shelter at home. So for our responsive reading today, I chose Rolling Away the Stone. But since we don't have a response up, I'm just going to read both. Rolling Away the Stone. In the tomb of the soul, we carry secret yearnings, pains, frustrations, loneliness, fears, regrets, and worries. In the tomb of the soul, we take refuge from the world and its heaviness. In the tomb of the soul, we wrap ourselves in the security of darkness. Sometimes this is a comfort. Sometimes it is an escape. Sometimes it prepares us for experience. Sometimes it insulates us from life. Sometimes this tomb gives us time to feel the pain of the world and reach out to heal others. Sometimes it numbs us and locks us up with our own concerns. In this season, where light and dark balance the day, we seek balance for ourselves. Grateful for the darkness that has nourished us, we push away the stone and invite the light to awaken us to the possibilities within us and among us. Possibilities of new life in ourselves and in our world. Sarah Moores Campbell. Whatever song you'd like to play. Just do a jam.
Okay.
Go.
I don't even know if I'm here.
We got you on both.
Actually, I took,
All right. Living through hell. Welcome to 2020. Now more than ever, we can maybe ask that Barbara Walters narrates the current state of the world affairs. because this is 2020, and maybe we need some peace of mind with Barbara Walters. Happy Easter Sunday. This service and this day of the year is typically very special to many of us. It's a time when we gather with family and friends. There's usually a ham involved, some turkey maybe, a roast, and we celebrate our time together. Kids run around, hunt for Easter eggs. We share candies and Easter baskets. We enjoy the anticipation of spring and summer to come and all the gatherings together. So many comings together that this year, because of COVID-19, aren't taking place. But that's a good thing. It's strange to think that this is a good thing this year. That we're thankful that people are keeping their social distancing, that they're not gathering together, and that they're maintaining their distance. And while this is hard for many of us, we understand that this is a sacrifice that we must make in order to maintain the greater good and the health and safety of us all. When we look at our Unitarian Universalist faith and our traditions, there are many things that we pull from, many spiritual backgrounds and practices. And so when it comes to certain holidays, we pull from many directions. So as many of you are aware, the Unitarian Universalists are something that's rather new. The Unitarians and the Universalists came together and officially joined together in 1961. However, their history went back to at least the 1800s in the United States and before then. The Easter eggs I mentioned earlier that are a hallmark of many American families have interesting traditions too that I didn't know about until I read it with this service. Easter eggs with their empty innards that were usually having the yolks blown out represented the empty tomb of Jesus, a colorful shrine that when we peel back the shell reveals just that, a colorful shell with nothing inside. And it's something that's celebrated, for Jesus has risen in the Christian tradition. The Christian tradition teaches its followers the great sacrifices that Jesus made for the well-being of the people, going all the way to the point of being killed in order to offer hope and salvation to everyone. In our service today, talking about living through hell, we have a different experience that we're looking at. We're not Jesus, we're not walking in their steps, but instead we're living through a pandemic as families and as society as a whole. Many of us are having to make hard choices and do things that we never would have thought we would have done at the start of the year. Things that now seem so odd if we were to look back before this all started. We have nurses and doctors locking away gloves to make sure that we have supplies and avoid them disappearing and running out. We're wondering about how long we should be wearing our masks in public. Do I start wearing it in the car, or do I wait to put it on until I get inside the store? Do I need a mask on when I go to the store? And all the other things that we worry about. There are many things that our families, our country, and our world has experienced over the years, not just within our lifetimes, but within many lifetimes. The Great Depression, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, the Spanish flu, the plague, the Great Fire of Chicago, the burning of Rome, even our own congregation's history, the burning of buildings, the loss of members tragically and unexpectedly. It's truly hard and interesting times, but through these experiences, we can use them to build forward and to work through our current situation with hope. This pandemic is a matter of science, and it should be treated as such in our response. Currently, some of our leaders seem to be more concerned about our man-made economy than the God-given life that they claim to represent in their vote for me values. It's not through just their words, but largely their actions that have led to this belief. The science has shown that our greatest hope in stopping this virus is to shelter in place and stay home. For it is through the exact opposite of this that the virus continues to be transmitted and take lives. The governors in our tri-state region have continued to avoid issuing shelter-in-place orders. ignoring the loss of human life, and instead they have chosen to prioritize the economy and curry favor with our president. To the 20,000 plus lives lost so far in this country, I'm pretty sure that their families aren't giving this thanks this today during their prayer with their Easter meal for this country's leadership keeping the economy going at all costs. Instead, many may be hoping that, like Jesus, they awake from what can only be described as a terrible dream and rise up from it into what once was. Maybe instead of issuing a day of prayer as a means to combat the incoming pandemic, our governor should instead issue a shelter-in-place order to help save lives and save that day of prayer for when this is all done so that we can pray for the lives lost in this pandemic and the course of this travesty. From our history, there are things that we can remember in these hard times. The Universalist Church of America, which is now part of the UUA, held the Christian tradition and belief that the God of love would not create a person knowing that that person would be destined for eternal damnation, with some of the restorationists thinking that hell was more of a holding period, and many not believing in the concept of hell at all. Hell is as real or as false as one chooses to believe. Maybe the biggest farce is that we've been led to believe that hell is a place that we're sent to, when in reality we're already there, wearing the chains of the capitalist Satan, performing its every command, one Amazon order and credit card charge at a time, blindly voting for the party we're told will be our salvation, when in fact a simple viral pandemic has shown us that the beast only thrives if we feed it and mercilessly bend to its every beck and call. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who is of the opinion that old people and those most at risk should volunteer to die to save the economy. These are the words of a person in a leadership position, mind you. However, it is that the tune changes when corporate America comes knocking. Human life no longer matters when we're looking at profit shares and gains and losses. The party that claims to be pro-life only cares about the life while it's in the womb. After that, education, healthcare, the right to a healthy life, all of these important areas of life, of how to live life, become an afterthought, to the point where we sacrifice our elders to save the economy. These leaders that tout their faith in Jesus seem to have forgotten that Jesus was also the guy that flipped the money tables in the temple and proceeded to whip the people for doing business there. And making a whip of cords, he drove them out of the temple with the sheep and the oxen. And he poured out the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. And he told those who sold pigeons, "Take these things away. Do not make my Father's house a house of trade." This is not a Democratic or a Republican problem. This is a human problem. Because when we remove the names, faces, and party affiliation, and take the time to analyze what these people are saying, we realize the travesty in how these individuals value human life, or the lack thereof. Claiming the single mother and her children will suffer if the economy suffers is a fallacy. She and her children will suffer if you stand by idly and refuse to help them put food on their table and keep a roof over their head, and then let an uncontrolled pandemic kill off the mother's elderly parents who provide free childcare while the mother works and makes up the majority, and those parents make up the majority of the mother's support network. As Unitarians, we expand beyond the Christian teachings, and our very first principle is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Every person. The fetus is just as important as the elder. Our seventh principle reminds us of this. We need to hold respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are part of. Many of the religious and spiritual teachings that our Unitarian faith draws from remind us of the importance of taking the time to listen to, learn from, and respect our elders. We can all agree that we're not on the same page as Dan Patrick. For many of the elders that we have listened to and learned from have taught us to be flexible and to weather the storm, for it does get better. Some of these elders have survived multiple wars, polio, economic collapse, 9/11, the Great Depression, the farm crisis, and being born before their family homes had access to indoor plumbing or electricity. Keeping the economy roaring is not worth the loss of human life. It's not what Jesus fought for, and it's not what we should be supporting people to fight for. It gets better. Economies will rebuild themselves, and we can weather the storm together, as long as we understand that temporary economic loss will be the price we pay to save the lives of those we care about. Some of our elected officials seem to have failed to learn this lesson. As a society, we've made incredible advancements. We've landed humans on the moon. But now, when the time comes to stay home, social distance, wash our hands, and wear a mask at the grocery store, all in the attempt to slow the spread of this virus, it is too much to ask and too much of a burden to bear. American society has been groomed around the understanding that our economy is the best reflection of our health and well-being as a nation. When now we're realizing that was a poor judgment on our part. We should be judging the health of our society on how we treat each other. And how we value each other's right to life and existence. We find ourselves living in a society based on the riches of the 1%'s bank accounts, instead of celebrating and valuing the richness of the lives we share together. Regardless of one's personal views, salvation can be found in these trying times, and in many different manners with many different faith backgrounds. For as the wise have taught us, all roads lead to the same place. Queen Elizabeth may have said it best in her televised speech regarding the pandemic. She may be the head of a monarchy, an old system of power, privilege, and control, and something that this country and most people fight to get away from. But I think we can all agree that we hope history will look back on our actions as individuals and as a community and be proud of the work we did. As she closed in reminding us, we should take comfort for that while we may have still more to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again. Just as Jesus rose from the dead and ascended into heaven in the Christian belief, may we as individuals and as Unitarians continue our independent search for truth and meaning, and rise each day to the occasion and fight this pandemic as people of faith and of science, so that our communities can overcome and grow into the future. Each of us has inner strength that we can use on a personal level to help society. And each of us needs to be doing our part. We can help change the world for the better, not just during a pandemic, but every day that we walk on this great earth. Amen. All right. Yeah, let's go with We Would Be One for the closing song.
Extinguish the chalice first.
No, let's do the closing song, then extinguish the chalice, and then you can do a postlude. Here.
Thank you, Carter.
Yep. All right. Our closing words today are number 625, an eye for miracles. You who have an eye for miracles, regard the bud now appearing on the bare branch of the fragile young tree. It's a mere dot, a nothing, but already it's a flower, already a fruit, already its own death and resurrection. Diego Valeri. All right. Get this down a little bit. Please recite with me as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this light, but not the light of truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. All right, we have one announcement today. Let me just get into it here. Okay. So Andrea sent out a note that she wanted to let everyone know. She's gotten a few phone calls from folks, and so she just wanted everyone at church to know that the IRS has extended the deadline to file your 2019 tax returns. The deadline has been extended to July 15th. The Center of Siouxland, which does free tax preparation, is currently closed, but hopefully will reopen to help taxpayers closer to July. For people wondering about their stimulus payment, you can go to the IRS website for details and find out how to update your information before the payments are sent if that needs to be changed. Iowa Legal Aid has a hotline for people with questions related to the coronavirus, and that number is 1-800-332-0419. And now, at this time, let us go through and listen to a good old-fashioned postlude from Terry.
What is Life is a Dance? What is that number?
Life is a Dance. That one was 311.
You know, okay.
Have a great week, Facebook. Bye. All right.
Good job, Carter and Terry.
Yep. Wait.
Have you turned off Facebook? No.
Yep, we're disconnecting Facebook. I'm just checking on it to see. I think it's posted, hopefully.
Might take a while to like process and render. Corey Cantrell says you have a chin. One thing here.
All right, I think that's it. We'll see if the Facebook one got done since that was my first live on my phone.
By the way, the video on the Facebook was a lot better than the video
Laptop there.
from your laptop.
Okay,
So maybe the camera's better on the
on my phone.
phone, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Well, the one problem Corey Cantrell pointed out, I have a double chin.
That's not a problem. It's just who you are.
It means I'll last longer when we start starving when the food chain is interrupted.
There you go.
They'll have to eat through this first. They always
Okay,
said I
we-
was a little cheeky, not a little chinny.
I'm going to end the broadcast now. Okay.
All right. Have a good day, you guys.
You too. Good job.
Bye.